What up, everybody? Danye Goodman here. Been having some questions about the last couple of videos I posted of me and the band playing at church, and I had mentioned that I didn't have an aux guy. It was just me on main keys. There was no aux guy or a guy on the organ. Normally, the guy on the organ and auxiliary keyboards would be me, but our MD was out on vacation, and so I had to sit in the MD seat. So I want to explain how I set that Kronos 8 up at the church. Now, first and foremost, because people heard like a B3 sound with all my stacks and stuff coming through, and they were like, yo, that's crazy how it still sounds like it's two people over there. So I wanted to share that setup with you and show y'all. First and foremost, the first thing I did was I tried it at home first. You know, I never wait until I get to the thing to try anything. I never experiment on the spot. I actually tried it out at home first to make sure it would work, to make sure I got all the bugs out of the system, and then I did it at the church. So we're going to start from scratch, and I just want to set mine up to show you. I'm not going to show you like the screen on my Kronos. For those of you who have Kronoses, you're going to know what it looks like. I'm going to walk you through it though, but I'm not going to have like the screen thing up and show you all. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm doing so you know how to get there though. And then instead of at the church, I had the Kronos 8, right? It's the Kronos second generation 8. So the Kronos 2, 8, 88 key. Then on top, I had my Roland Juno DS. I got to play main keys again this weekend. So my Juno DS is still at the church, sitting on top of the Kronos. And then I have, I had my MPC, my Akai MPC X SE that ran my loops. And then I had, I don't know if you can see it. You can see it back there behind me. I had my Legion Go 2. I want to say that's the Legion Go 2. And for those of you guys who have been asking about the Legion Go 2, like, what's that little game machine next to your organ? The Legion Go is a handheld Windows PC, which not only allows you to play your Steam games and all your gaming stuff, but you can run your DAW on there. So on my Legion Go, I have Studio One. I have all my Universal Audio plugins and all the plugins that I would use when I want to play live. I have my mobile interface. I just plug it up to the Legion Go, and I can run my organ or organ sounds through whatever effects I want. And I choose to turn off the internal Leslie of whatever organ I'm using and use the UAD waterfall that's installed on my Legion Go. The reason being is because the UAD waterfall Leslie or rotary plugin is the best, hands down. I know y'all gonna argue with me, but it's better than Nord. It's better than, I haven't really put it up against Roland's V-Stage yet, but it kills Nord, makes Nord sound like a toy. It's better than the Kronos Leslie simulation. It's better than the VB3. It's better than Logic's organ. It's better than any other organ I've ever heard. It's better than any other organ emulation ever. So, and that's just me talking from my experience. I've tried every last one of them. Nothing screams like this Leslie. So that's what I use, UAD waterfall. I'll bring it up here in a little bit because I'm going to show you how I did everything. I'm going to use my big computer instead of my Legion Go because it's the same thing. And instead of my Roland Juno DS, I'm going to use my Roland Integra7 for just, you know, extra patches just to show y'all what's going on. It's a sound module for those of you who don't know what a Roland Integra7 is. It's just it's like Roland Cloud in a box. It's like Xenology before Xenology. And I got the Roland Integra7 back in 2019, I want to say is when I got it. 2019 or 2018. 2019. I got it in 2019. I have never looked back. There's patches on here that just the cloud just don't have. There's a lot of Eric Persing sounds on here because it has a lot of the original SRX expansion cards in it that's not available in Xenology and in the Roland Cloud and all of the other stuff. I mean, you can find it in the Spectrasonics library, but the formatting isn't the same. The editing capability isn't the same. And I love Spectrasonics. I love what Eric Persing and them are doing now, especially with the release of Omnisphere 3. I haven't gotten it yet. I haven't messed with it yet, but you know, Eric Persing has a special place in my heart, and Spectrasonics has a special place in my heart because Eric Persing is responsible for a lot of just dope sounds throughout the years, and he's made a huge contribution to music in and of itself. You know, there's a lot of signature passages that came from his creativity, and so along with Roland, period. So I'm a let it be said, I'm really a big Roland fan. I'm a huge Roland fanatic. But the Korg Kronos spoiled me. The Korg Kronos is just spoiled me in terms of its heft. Korg has always been like the next thing. I didn't start my career on Korg. I started my career really on Roland as a producer. But back when the Trinity and the Triton came out, it was hands up. It was just hands down. It was hands down. The user friendliness of the interface and how you could track stuff, and then you couple that with an Akai MPC, you were golden. You were so golden. So I had a Korg Triton 76 key. I had a Triton Studio with the CD burner joint on it, and then I had a Akai MPC 60 back in the day. Then I graduated to Akai MPC 2000. I got a 2000 XL up in my closet, and now I have the Akai MPC X. I'm gonna do it the same way I had on the video. All right, so on the video, I have 3 stacks. The way I play, I don't need to stack 8 sounds. There's never a need for 8, right? Maybe 6, right? But all of those 6 do something different, right? I don't really subscribe to like the trending sound, right? I'm going to always look to go left because I want my own thing. So on the video, there was the grand piano, and stacked on top of that, I had the Yamaha DX7 electric piano. Now, the Yamaha DX7 electric piano is my joint. That's the joint I go to. Now, I love the MKS20 and the MK80 and the P33 EP. I love those, but I never use those. I never touch those. There's a certain thing that I'm looking for, and the Yamaha DX7 EP gives it to me every time. There's an FM engine in the Korg Kronos, and the FM engine in the Korg Kronos reads all of the original DX7 SYX files, the SysX files, the SYX.SYX files, and these are all the patch settings in the original Yamaha DX7. So you can find the original Yamaha DX7 banks, download them, and upload them straight into your Korg Kronos, and it will play the patch exactly as it's programmed in the DX7, right? So I use the EP from there. So grand piano, and then the EP, and then there's a pad in the Korg Kronos that I use called Russian Winter. It's the only pad I use. I don't use it. I only need one pad, right? So those three sounds alone get me through a whole service. I don't really Those three sounds alone. But for extra heft and to make sure that there is zero polyphony issues with the Korg Kronos, I MIDI'd it to my Roland Juno DS, right? And I stacked one synth brass patch and one string patch, right? So that's 5 sounds on, that's 5 sounds layered together, right? And that's just for bigness. So I have grand piano, DX7 EP, synth brass, Roland synth brass, and a Roland string patch. That's it, right? Now, my sixth sound is the B3 sound that you hear in there. And what that is it is the Korg Kronos CX3 drawbar organ in here. I turned the internal Leslie off, and then I routed it out of separate outputs in the Korg Kronos. This is where the Korg Kronos stands out to me. There are 6 outputs. That's 3 stereo outputs. And I routed it to output 1 and 2, and I sent it to my interface going into my Legion Go. And then I processed the organ signal through the UAD waterfall, right? Which gives it that wonderful luscious B3 sound, because the CX3 tone wheels in the Korg Kronos are already killer. And then I ran it through the waterfall. And in order to control the Leslie, I could have just made it where it was a button on the Kronos, but I didn't want to have to do all that, because as I'll show you in the Kronos, when you set it up in the combi mode, you can make it so that you can control the drawbar settings in real time along with your layer patches, right? Along with the volumes of your layer patches. And I was doing that already. I didn't need another button for Leslie. So I had the Leslie automated on a 7-second timer in my DAW so that it would automatically change every 7 seconds. So we're going to set all of that up. After I've done all of this talking, we're going to start. All right. So bear with me. I got my water here because we're going to be doing some thinking. Let's start with a Berlin grand piano, my favorite grand piano in the Korg Kronos. I love how it sounds. Great texture, great resonance, all the key rings. Listen to this. Yeah, you hear that? Matter of fact, let me adjust this mic here. Yeah, there we go. So you hear that? Okay, so now a lot of us have polyphony issues in the Kronos 2nd generation. I don't know if the 3rd generation Kronos that just came out is better, but I know that the Kronos 2nd generation, I think it only has 64 no polyphony. So you get the stack and stuff, it's going to start cutting off. However, the way you avoid that is to make sure you turn off any unused channel slots and layers and MIDI to something else. Like for me, that's what I do. The sounds in the Kronos are big if you know what you're doing. 3-4 layers should be perfectly fine. Anything past that, you're going to run into trouble. However, there's some sounds I like from my Roland that they just fatten everything up. So, but let me just reproduce what I did on the video. So I had the grand piano. So let's come here. I have the 61 key, so let me take the pitch down an octave. Yeah, there we go. All right, let me stack that. So as I explained, the Yamaha DX7 EP. Now let me stack it in order to do that. Make sure everything's on the same MIDI channel. hear that? That 80s goodness. All right. So that sounds really good, but it's better with that chorus on it. So in order to put the chorus on the EP, you hit the IFX tab in the combi. And in channel 2, in the routings tab, you'll see where everything is routed through the left and right, L/R. You hit that and you go to IFX1. And that routes everything to the effects 1 through 12. You get 12 insert effects. So you can technically route an insert effect to each layer, right? But I just need a chorus on this EP. So I'm going to hit the insert effects tab. It says insert effects. There's the IFX tab on the bottom, and then there's a tab on the upper layer there that says insert effects. You're going to tap that. You're going to turn the IFX on, for IFX1. You're going to open the little button next to the number that says no effect. There's a little button there, and it's going to pull up all of your effect choices. You're going to go down to the chorus flanger phaser tab, which is CHO/FLN/PHS. And I'm going to choose the stereo chorus. And then I'm going to go to the IFX tab. You choose the stereo chorus, you click OK, you tap OK. And then you go to the IFX 1 through 12 tab, and that opens up the edit pages for all of your effects. And I'm on the stereo chorus page. I'm going to go down to where it says wet dry. I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to change that all the way to dry. Right? So I'm drill. Now I'm going to dial in chorus as I need it. You hear that? That's so luscious. $30.70 feels about right. Go back to the play tab where all the channels are. I'm going to bring in the piano. See how big that already sounds without even adding anything else? Just those two sounds. Right? Perfect. Now let me add my pad. There's a pad that I have in there that's one of my favorite pads. It's called the Russian Winter Pad. And let me show you what it sounds like. In channel 3, timbre perimeter, pitch, -12, MIDI, channel 1, and Russian Winter. Let's go to the slow synth tab. Go to dope part about the Kronos. Roland does it too. It lets you search. So I can come in here and type RUSS, type find, Russian Winter comes right up. Click OK. And then turn up Russian Winter. That's my pad right there. That joint is so luscious, man. Let me pull in the... See how beautiful that is? Just those three right there get me through a worship service or any type of situation, ballad situation, right? So for channels 4 and 5, I'm going to go out to my Roland Integra7. So I just come here to the timbre parameter, and on channel 4, I make sure where it says INT, I click that, and then I go up to where it says EXT and do the same thing for channel 5, which tells the Kronos that your sound source is going to be from an external keyboard. That's what EXT stands for, is external. So channel 4 and 5 are going to be triggering external sounds so that you won't be using any of the polyphony in the Kronos. So everything else is down except for channel 4, and I have a synth already in here on channel 4. All right, so channel 1 and 2 on my Integra7 are channel 4 and 5. I changed the channels on channels 1 on layer 1 and 2 is 4 and 5. So I have a JP8 brass on channel 4, and then I have XV strings on channel 5. So let me pull up. If I play channel 4, there's a lot of people who don't think Kronos can do that synth wiggle. That's what the joystick is for. The mod wheel doesn't mean the synth wiggle is better than the joystick. It's all about internal LFOs and all of that kind of stuff. That's set up internally. You can set up anything to do a synth wiggle. I can set up one of these knobs on here to do a synth wiggle if I want to. All right, let me set up the parameters. Now, only on the Kronos do you have to set your layers to channel 1. Everything else, channel 4 and 5, channel 6, 7, or whatever, because it's still sending the message out to that channel. Now, when I bring in everything else, now I have strings on channel 2, which is channel 5 on the Kronos. So I'll bring those up as well. Big old sound, right? Big old sound. So that in and of itself gets me through everything. Now, if I want to do something stupid and crazy, which I am going to do, so I'm going to stack another brass on top of the synth brass I got over here. So in my Integra7, channel 1 is channel 4 and channel 2 is channel 5. So synth brass is on channel 4. So I'm going to stack another brass on top of that. So in my third layer here, I'm going to change that to channel 4. Matter of fact, I'll do it for the fourth layer because that's already channel 4. And then I'll come in here and turn it on. I already know what sound I want. I have a favorite Roland brass. I have a favorite Roland brass. It's called Brass It, and it's from the Roland XV series. And I used to smack it in the Roland XP 50 and 80, and in the Roland XV 5080. Now, if I go to the synth brass, go down to the PCM section. And y'all let me know in the comments, like, if you want me to do more videos explaining stuff. I can, and you know, we'll see what we can do. Brass it. There we go. That's what it sounds like, right? That John P. Key stuff from the XP. Actually, this brass was from the Roland D50 used to have this joint, but this has got more of a stereo feel to it. So this is that Roland D50 type stuff. And this is like all the Jesus is real and all of that old school John P. Key brass. And before that, there were other choirs that used it. Trinity Temple Full Gospel Mass Choir. Yeah, see, I'm dating myself right now because a lot of y'all don't even know who that is. It's in there. Perfect. So now let me stack everything. See how bright it all gets? Watch this. Perfect. See how big that is? So huge. And that's 5 sounds, right? Technically 6 because I got 2 sounds stacked in my other thing, but I'm already past 4 sounds, and my polyphony is still, I got plenty of room, right? Now let's get to the organ. So in order to get your organ working, what you got to do is just go to channel 6. Go to channel 6. Let's change it to channel 1. Okay, that's a piano, right? Now you go in here and let's get the organ tab. And then you want to click the drawbar control organ, which is the CX3 module in here. And then the patch I usually start out with is Tom Coster's Rhythm Comp. Tom Coster's Rhythm Comp. I love Tom Coster. He's a monster. Right? So check this organ sound out. This is just the CX3 now. Not bad. It's not bad. But here's how you control the drawbars in real time. Because this is the highlight. They were like, how are you controlling drawbars in real time? So here's how you do that in combi mode. You're in combi mode. In combi mode, in the main page, there's a tab called Control Surface. You click Control Surface, and you should automatically see a page set up with all of the organ settings, the drawbar settings, the percussion settings, the vibrato control, the rotary speaker, all of that. But you might not. So what you have to do is you click the Tone Adjust EQ button out here by the faders. You click that, and then on the screen, there's a little section called timbre. And what that is telling you which track that you're on, which layer you're on. And since the organ is layer 6, you click the little button, you change it to 6, and all of your organ settings should come up, right? And because you're on the Tone Adjust EQ button, now the faders control the drawbars. So watch. All right, but we're not going to use the internal Leslie. We're just going to use tone wheels. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in here. We're going to turn the rotary speaker off. Check it out. Now it's just the dry tone wheels. That's it. But you want to get that to the UAD waterfall, and let's walk through that. I like the vibrato chorus on because I just love the personality of it. But everyone doesn't like that. So I'll just turn it off for now. Okay. So the first thing you want to do, you want to route it out of channel 1 and 2. So everything else is routed from the left and right. You want to route layer 6 out of 1 and 2. So you want to hit the IFX button again. You want to hit the routing 1 tab, go to layer 6, and then just scroll up until you get to 1, 2. It should say 1, 2 together, not separate. 1/2. That means everything is going out through channel 1, 2, right? So when I play the organ now, I don't hear anything, right? But in my computer here, all I have to do is activate the audio channel that's going to receive my Kronos on channel 1 and 2. And here we go, right? First thing we want to do is bring in the UAD Waterfall Rotary speaker. Let's go down here. Let's grab it. UAD Waterfall. Here it is. And we're going to drag it over to the audio track. So what it's going to do is that means it's going to process the organ incoming through the interface, and it's going to hit that rotary speaker before it comes back out at us. Now here is the UAD waterfall. So here's the organ by itself. Now listen. Now watch when I switch to Leslie. Now I'm going to change it to my settings. On the horn, I like the 414s, and I like them on the sides like that. And then I like my bottom mic just back a little bit. Let me turn this Leslie on. Man, that's so juicy. Now let's turn this mechanic noise off. Sounds good, makes it sound real, but in a house system, that can come through a little too noisy. So I'm going to turn this down, right? So now that there is no noise, I have a expression pedal. All right, so now let's get the Leslie automated so I don't have to keep worrying about it, right? So what I have here is a MIDI track. You can do this in any DAW. I have a MIDI track, and I'm going to assign it to this Waterfall Rotary. And then I am going to automate a modulation wheel switch every 7 seconds. So let me just put a blank MIDI track here, and I'm going to go to the 7-second mark in this is that's about 7. Here's the 7-second mark. Then I'm going to draw a MIDI, not a MIDI note, but a MIDI message, which is the modulation wheel message right here. What you can actually do, it can get a little detailed, and sometimes it can get counterintuitive if you're not used to MIDI editing and all that. What you can do is you can just hit record, and in 7 seconds switch the mod wheel, and then wait another 7 seconds, then stop, and then just loop 14 seconds, and it'll switch back and forth. But I'm going to just draw it in here. So I'm going to draw this. It was at 4.5. And then I'm going to erase these. So 4.5 to 8.5. That's 14, 15 seconds. That's okay. We can do that. So now, then I'm going to just loop this section right here and just play it. Turn the loop on. Now watch, I'm going to hold a note. I'm going to hit play. It's going to change. And as it loops around, it'll change again. So now I can bring in the rest of the layers. See how big that got? So now, so it's, I mean, it's huge. You know, and then you just, now you can adjust the organ volume separately, or in the house, they can adjust the organ volume separately from your piano, right? And then you can change it, you know, if you want to go soft. See how crazy that gets? So yeah, experiment with it. Find your own patches, your own layers to put in that, and throw a Leslie in there with or organ in there with your rotary, and man, Bob's your uncle. You can church all day or whatever gig you have. Blues, it works it works for anything. This works for anything. And if you want to get crazier, the thing I like about the Kronos is you still got another set of outputs. So you can route another sound from somewhere else out to the board or wherever else for more control. So that's it. I hope this helps. I know a few people wanted me to explain it and how the setup goes. By the way, I use this same setup without the Kronos. I use it with my Krumar Mojo organ. I just turn the internal Leslie off, run the sound to my interface, and do this same thing. The only difference is I don't automate it because I can control the Leslie from the actual organ, right? So this works with anything. You got a keyboard that, you know, you're looking for that true B3 organ sound, and your keyboard doesn't have it, just put it on, you know, the regular organ that don't have no Leslie in it, run it into this, it'll scream all the same. All right. Love y'all. Thanks for tuning in.